You walk into a room and no one notices. You speak and no one listens. You try to be liked, to be understood, to be seen. And still, you are invisible. You want to be feared? Then stop trying to be liked. Look at me. You talk too much. You feel too much. You react to everything. And that makes you weak. You think fear comes from size? From shouting louder than the next man? No. Fear is silence, stillness, discipline. It's the man who doesn't flinch, who doesn't blink, who doesn't need to speak. You want to be that man? Then stop explaining, stop justifying, stop showing them your heart and calling it strength. They don't respect your emotions. They use them to bait you, to break you. But I've seen war. I've buried men. I've stood in rooms where death was breathing down my neck, and I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I lit a cigarette and stared back because I knew something. Emotion is a leash. They pull it, you move. They tug, you break. But when you cut the leash, you become dangerous. You don't need to be the biggest man in the room. You don't need muscle. You don't need noise. You need control. Control of your eyes, your hands, your face. Control of the storm inside you. Let me tell you what that looks like. You're insulted? You say nothing. You're underestimated? You stay calm. They laugh? You stay still. And in that stillness, they begin to fear you. Not because of what you did, but because of what you could do. That's real fear. Because when a man doesn't react, he becomes unpredictable. And when he's unpredictable, he's untouchable. You ever see a man lose it? Punching walls, screaming in public, trying to prove he's not weak? That's not power. That's desperation. He's already lost. Because the emotional man, he's easy to control. Push him here, he moves. Poke him there, he bleeds. But me? You could insult me to my face, and I'd smile. Because I'm already 10 moves ahead. You're playing checkers. I've already set the board on fire. That's what you must become. Unshaken, unreadable, unstoppable. You want to be feared? Then speak less, move less, reveal less. Make them wonder, make them guess, make them nervous in your silence. Let your eyes say what your mouth never will. Let your stillness scream louder than their chaos. And when the moment comes, act. Without noise, without warning, without mercy. This is how power is built. In silence, in discipline, in total control. Now, wake up tomorrow, say nothing. Train, think, move. And when they talk, let them. Because they don't know what you're planning. They don't know who you're becoming. But soon, they will.
You think words are strength? Words are cheap. Anyone can talk. Most do, constantly. But power, real power, moves in silence. Thomas Shelby walks into a room. He doesn't speak. He doesn't gesture. He doesn't smile. But everyone feels it. The weight, the presence, the cold. That's what you need to become. You ever watch a predator before it strikes? Still, calm, focused. That's fear. Not in what it does, in what it might do. You think fear is loud? Fear is calculated quiet. It's the pause before a sentence, the stare that lingers too long, the silence that wraps around a room like fog. Most men talk to be heard, to be validated, to be understood. That's weakness. If you speak, it should be intentional, measured, heavy. Thomas lets them speak first. He watches, listens, waits. And when they think they've won, he ends them. No outburst, no warning. That's the advantage of silence. It hides the blade. You want to control a room? Then stop trying to be liked in it. Don't chase attention. Let them chase your approval. And when you withhold it, watch how they start bending. That's control. Not muscle, not shouting, not chaos. Stillness. Ice. You want to know the difference between fear and respect? Respect is earned. Fear is built slowly, with discipline. It starts with your habits. Wake up earlier, speak less, stop reacting. Let me make this simple. Every time you react, you lose ground. Every time you argue, you reveal weakness. Every time you explain yourself, you give away power. But if you pause, if you hold your stare, if you say nothing, you win. It drives them mad because they want to know what you're thinking. They want your emotion, your anger, your surrender. Don't give it. Give them silence. Give them confusion. Give them fear. You're not here to be understood. You're here to be unreadable. You think that's cold? Good. Cold men don't get controlled. They don't beg. They don't break. They wait. They calculate. They watch you destroy yourself trying to provoke them. That's how Thomas wins. He doesn't fight battles. He designs them. He lets you walk into your own trap. Because while you're throwing punches, he's already decided how the story ends. And that's the goal. You want to be feared? Then become inevitable. Predictable men are defeated early. Emotional men are used and discarded. But a man who's still, unreadable, and relentless, he becomes a shadow, an idea, a warning. Let me ask you, who are you becoming? The man who speaks first, or the one who doesn't need to speak at all? Cut the noise. Kill the weakness. Control your face. Control your room. You don't flinch. You don't chase. You don't explain. Because once you master the silence, everything bends to your presence.
They won't see you coming. That's the point. You don't shout. You don't warn. You don't declare war. You prepare in silence and end things before they begin. That's how Thomas Shelby moves. Not like a man desperate to prove himself, but like a ghost walking among the living, unshaken, unpredictable, unstoppable. Because he understands something most men never learn. The moment they know your next move, you've already lost. So, you become unreadable. You train your face to reveal nothing. You train your eyes to cut deeper than words. And when you act, you do it without noise, without hesitation, without emotion. That's what makes you feared. Not your size, not your past, your discipline. You think legacy is about attention, flashy cars, loud rooms, viral moments. No. Legacy is quiet. It's the early hours, the missed parties, the lonely nights filled with calculation and pain.
Thomas didn't build an empire by being seen. He built it by disappearing into the shadows, while everyone else was chasing light. You want that? Then understand this. The world does not reward softness. It devours it. It doesn't care how you feel. It only respects what you become. So you train, not because someone's watching, but because you're always watching. Your standards, your rules, your world. There's a moment when someone crosses a line and every part of you wants to react. You don't. You wait. You make them believe they're safe. You smile. You pour them a drink. And then you flip the board they thought they were winning on. That's not revenge. That's art. You don't destroy out of anger. You do it with precision. Because when you stop reacting, you start deciding. And when you start deciding, you stop losing. You stop being emotional. You stop being predictable. You become feared. So here's the final lesson. Detach from comfort, from noise, from weakness. Cut out anything that softens your edge. Sleep cold. Train hard. Read when others scroll. And when they ask where you've been, say nothing. Because men like you don't make announcements. They make impact. And if they doubt you, let them. While they talk, you build. While they react, you plan. While they chase dopamine, you sharpen your blade. And when the time comes, you strike. No rage, no mess, no warning, just silence and results. Because from now on, you don't need their respect. You don't need their permission. You've already decided what you're going to become. A man who doesn't beg. A man who doesn't flinch. A man who doesn't explain. You walk into a room and they feel it. That cold, that silence, that storm beneath your skin. That's power. That's fear. That's the Thomas Shelby method. And now it's yours. So wake up tomorrow, early, say nothing, do more, and let your discipline speak for you. Because a man who moves like this can't be ignored. He's not emotional. He's inevitable. Now, go. Become him and let the world learn. You don't raise your voice. You don't react. You plan. You move. You win. Subscribe. Rewatch this when you're slipping. And remember, you are no longer emotional. You are feared.